The purpose of this video is to talk a little bit about what a histogram is and to show how to create one of these in Excel. So my example here that I made up is based on the idea of rolling two dice and adding the sum of the two dice together. So the idea is each die has numbers from 1 to 6, and so if you add them together you get anywhere between 2 and 12. So I'm going to look at 100 different rolls. This first number column goes from 1 to 100. So if I jump down to the bottom, you see that they're just numbered 1 to 100. And what I have are two columns here, roll 1 and roll 2. And in Excel, I'm using this random function. So you can see it's equals rand between. And I said rand between 1 and 6. So it's going to give me a number between 1 and 6. So I have these two numbers that it's generating, and then in the fourth column, it's just the sum, so I add these two numbers together. Now, every time you do anything in Excel, so like let's say I come over here and I type the number 1 in here, it re-randomizes everything. So if I delete the number 1, it re-randomizes it again. So just to keep everything the same, I'm going to grab this fourth column, and I'm going to use the copy and paste, but I'm going to use paste special and have it just paste the values. So it's not going to change anything in this fourth column. Columns B, C, and D will change every time I do anything, but column F will not change. So column F represents 100 values between 2 and 12, randomly determined by Excel based on the idea of rolling two dice. So if I want to plot a histogram, and then we can talk about what a histogram is after I do this, I can select all those numbers. I go to Insert, and in the Chart section there's a Statistics chart or Statistic chart. If I click on the options, there's Histogram, Pareto chart. We're going to go with a histogram here, and so I'm just going to select that. This chart is a histogram, and it is showing on the horizontal axis ranges of values. So between 2 and 3.9, between 3.9 and 5.8, 5.8, 7.7, and so on. Obviously, the numbers in this case are all integers. So this would be basically the numbers 2 and 3. And this looks like it would be between numbers 4 or 5, 6 and 7, and so on. And then on the vertical axis, this is the frequency. This is showing how many times those numbers showed up. So for example, the numbers 2 and 3, if I hover over this, it tells me the value is 8. So what that's saying is that there are 8 times that we either got the number 2 or 3 showing up. And this is 19 times, 33 times, 21 times, 15 times, and 4 times. So if we added up all those times, we should get 100 because there were 100 original data points. So this is showing a distribution of what values you can get and then their frequency. And looking at this, what this would say is, well, you're more likely to get numbers 6 or 7. And if you know anything about how dice work when you add those numbers together, 7 is the most likely number you will see. You can go down here and you can click on this axis and right-click and select Format Axis. And you can basically adjust so either the bin width or the number of bins. So each of these is considered a bin. So if I go to number of bins, you see now I've changed this to 6 bins, but what it's changed the range of these. I have to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So it looks like now it's grouped the 7s in the third bin. If I go to bin width, for example, if I change this maybe to 0.9, now I get a distribution like this. So this means that it looks like there are 3 number 2s and 5 number 3s that show up, and so on. And so you can change the size of the bin width in Excel, and it will correspondingly change the shape of the graph. I'll go back to what we had originally with automatic here. If I were to add titles to this, I might say, in this case, this would be the range of values of sum of two dice, and we can call this the frequency or the frequency of occurrence.